I love making this recipe because it's so easy, so quick, and so simple to just build big, bold flavors. So we're gonna start with a watermelon. If you can get a seedless watermelon, that would be the best. If you can't get a seedless watermelon like what I have today, I have little white seeds which are very kind of soft. You can actually eat them, it's totally fine. But if you had those big black seeds, then you're better off removing them. So what we're gonna do first is build our liquid base. So I'm gonna start off by chopping up my watermelon. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove mostly just the red part. If you get some of the white parts, totally fine. And then we're just gonna chop that up. And then put that into our blender here. To the watermelon, we're gonna add some fresh coconut water and just cover everything with it. And I'm gonna blend that until I have a nice kind of liquid juice. Now that's done, I'm just gonna set this aside. You could actually stop right there and you have this beautiful kind of refreshing juice that you could drink. And now we're gonna work on our savory items. So I'm using a food processor for this because I don't want to blend everything into something too watery. I still want some chunks and some texture in there. So we're gonna start off with 1 tomato. So what I'm gonna do here is remove most of the core. You can leave a little bit of it inside, and I'm just gonna chop that up. And I'm gonna keep a little bit of it for later, just for some garnish. So that goes in my food processor here. Then we're gonna throw in half a green chili. Now this is not too spicy, so we can go ahead and keep the seeds, keep the other half for the garnish. Some parsley, which I'm just gonna cut up. I can use the stalks still in this recipe. 1 red onion. Then I'm gonna go ahead and grate in some garlic. Now you could chuck the garlic right in, but then you'd have these big intense chunks. So this way you have something nice and fine and a good pungent garlic flavor. And finally to this, we're gonna add 1 red bell pepper. Just go ahead and core it, remove the seeds. Make sure to save some for the top later. So we're just gonna run all this through with a little bit of sherry vinegar. Just start with a little bit and then you can always adjust it later. And then some seasoning, so some fish sauce. Some black pepper. And what we want to do is bring it to a texture where it resembles almost like a little liquid salsa. Once it's properly chopped up, I can go ahead and add in my watermelon coconut mix. And then we're just going to blend all that together. That basically is good to go. You can always taste it to make sure that your seasoning's on point. I personally think I need a little more vinegar notes to the dish, and then I'm just gonna balance everything out with a tad bit of salt. And just for some extra spice, I'm gonna go ahead and chuck in some chili powder. Okay, we'll just keep that to the side for now, and then we're gonna work on our different garnishings. So I'm gonna get that bell pepper that I had a while ago, and I'm just gonna make nice little cubes with it. I'm gonna mince a little bit of my red onion here. To that, we're gonna add our red tomato, just the skin part this time. And then finally, our green chili, some nice thin slices. So I'm gonna get my bowl out right here. We're gonna go ahead and just pour in our soup. That color is so cool. We're gonna start by adding our different condiments right on top. Our vegetables go in, our red onions, you can put them a little bit everywhere. Some tomatoes, and finally, my long green chili. And then for added texture, we can always add some watermelon. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up just the top part of our watermelon. And do some nice thin cubes with that. Sprinkle that on top here. And then to build even more flavor with some herbs, I'm gonna use some mint, a little bit of parsley, just to mirror the flavors that we have in the soup. Some black pepper just to top it off. And then I'm gonna use some extra virgin olive oil. And then a little bit of Parmesan cheese. This is completely optional. I just really like the combination. And that's how I make a really simple and delicious watermelon